using it? If only we had a map. Cue the map.
Cue map.
So this is the product of a BYU study by Carl Hansen and Associates. And what they basically did was they took tweets from several hundred thousand tweets, over 200,000 tweets from over 100,000 unique user accounts. And so they mapped out where the tweets were coming from in terms of where the students went to college. And you can see that there is a big disparity between East and West Coast. So look, I went to college on the East Coast. I was not a user of Adderall while I was an undergrad anyway. You're West Coast.
I'm
What's up?
from
Why
Arizona.
aren't you guys popping
That's the weird thing, because all
Adderall?
that data is based off tweets, not necessarily by users, perhaps. But when I was in Arizona, I had never even heard of anyone using Adderall. I had never used it myself. I didn't know. I mean, everyone there just does heroin, I guess, but or meth. But no, I didn't know anyone.
Does that help with college?
No, don't do meth or heroin. But Adderall, I guess, was not really a big deal there. But when I went to school at UC Santa Cruz and started meeting people from California, it became like this really normal thing where people were using Adderall to study all the time, or they were using it to take tests, and I was kind of blown away. I still have not used it. I'm kind of curious as to what it does.
Yeah. Quick side note, I tried half of one time, just because I wanted to be able to report to you about what it was like. Sure. And it was interesting. But don't try it, ever. But it was interesting. Anyway, so in terms of the repercussions of them using tweets, so obviously that's not super representative, I guess, because it might be that the West Coast takes Adderall, but they just don't talk about it in social media as much. I don't know why that would be, but it's a possibility. You have to understand the methodology. And in terms of how the tweets talked about Adderall, the researchers are saying that they generally talked about it in a joking, sarcastic, or casual manner, but sometimes they did talk about the side effects like sleep deprivation, loss of appetite, and there was a difference in terms of when they talked about it. So basically around the middle of the week and final exams, as you might be not surprised to find out, that's when they used it. And it dropped significantly on Fridays and Saturdays, which implies to the researchers that they are using it for studying and not using it like recreationally, I guess.
Friday and Saturdays when they switch to their other drugs.
Exactly.
The more fun drugs.
They were too drunk to remember to use it, I guess. And the researchers think, though, that the fact that on the East Coast we're talking about it so much, that might normalize it, and more college students might feel like it's an okay thing to do because of that.
That definitely makes sense. When I went to college and everyone was talking about it like it was a normal thing, I started to think, well, maybe I should do that too. I mean, it seems like it's helpful. I never did.
Yeah.
But I think that works the same way for a lot of different drugs. Like UC Santa Cruz is a very weed-heavy